Hello, I'm Nisreen Mamaji, certified financial planner and founder of MoneyWorks. This is a really difficult time for all of us. The COVID 19 fear has had various impacts on our careers, on our lifestyles, on our feelings, our emotions. There are several questions that have been asked during this difficult time. So let's have them.
All right. The first question is, due to job loss because of the pandemic, many people are not being able to manage their monthly expenses. Please advise.
So, I have been reading in the newspapers very regularly, as well as I have been getting calls from my own investors and customers, to stop their SIPs, to pause their SIPs. They can't manage their regular incomes and expenses thereof. So, this is something that actually is all pervading at various levels of management. It's not only for junior management, but also for middle management, for senior management, for business people. So what the lacunae here is that people have been forced to leave the metropolises and go back to their hometowns. Some of them have not been able to pay their monthly rentals, their EMIs, even on their homes, their cars, etc. So what I have basically noticed is that people are not prepared for this kind of an emergency or contingency. So there can be various reasons why a person gets laid off. Okay, you might get just laid off in a normal job loss, or there might be a situation like this which has global phenomenon and far-reaching impact like this pandemic right now, where you have lost your job. There could be a medical disaster. There could be an emergency at home where you are forced to give up your job and look after a dependent person at home. So when you start earning with your first paycheck, it's very important to lay at least a couple of percent, say about 5% of your salary, into something called an emergency plan or a contingency plan. Now, what we have noticed in theory is that we keep aside 6 months of expenses into this emergency or contingency plan. But after this COVID 19 and this pandemic that I am viewing right now and helping people manage their finances on a daily basis, personally, I feel that we could increase this contingency plan to 12 months of expenses. Okay, so from 6 months, I have very thoughtfully expanded this into 12 months of expenses. Once you reach that goal, you need not continue saving into the emergency fund, and you can go on to saving for your other goals, such as your home purchase, car purchase, foreign holiday, expensive asset purchase, etc. etc. So right now what we should be doing is investing into an emergency or contingency planner. Take the help of a certified financial planner, but please, to avoid any kind of situation like this in future, do plan that out firstly and primarily. Can we have our next question, please?
Yeah. I don't visit my bank as frequently as I used to. I am not able to issue checks. Please give me an alternative.
So that's a really interesting question. A lot of us have been very used to dealing with things physically. Issuing checks, going to the bank to pick up our money, going to an ATM, etc. Of course, that doesn't stop. But I think what we have noticed in this pandemic and in this last situation is that we have to do things digitally. Okay, I've had a lot of investors even asking me, I have my credit card payment to make. I'm not able to visit the bank in order to drop off my check. What should I do? So these are very basic questions, and initially I was a bit surprised as to the dependence that we have on issuing checks or going to the bank for very small errands. But this is the best time to learn how to do things digitally and from the comfort of your home, especially now that we are all working from home and have very limited access to our workplaces. So the simplest thing that I would tell you is to please download the Bheem app. Okay, we have something called the UPI, which is a unified payment interface, which you can use and access through the Bheem app, which you are going to link to your own account. So this is something that you can easily do when you want to pick up, pay for certain things that you are buying online. A lot of the networks from which you might be purchasing, such as Amazon, etc., you are already linked a debit or a credit card to. But for small payments, you can use the Bheem app. You have various apps. I mean, we have Google Pay. You might have various other alternatives that you're used to. From the investor's point of view, I personally use the National Stock Exchange and the Bombay Stock Exchange portal, whereby we even onboard a client digitally. So after the first conversation, which we can have on a video call or on a telephone call, everything is done digitally, right from onboarding to the first purchase. Okay, so it's of course a mutual fund distributor or a certified financial planner will help you through this process, but you should not let this kind of pandemic or something stop you from continuing with your normal life. But please continue to teach yourself how to pay and invest digitally. Thank you.